number of people on this planet hit 7 billion in October 2011. Just over half of them live in cities, and that number is set to swell to 3/4 of the global population by 2050. And along with that, a slew of challenges for urban planners. Over the next 3 weeks, we speak to 3 individuals who have made their mission to design cities both vibrant and viable. They call him the consummate politician, equally at home with India's poor as he is with the global elite. But Kamar Nath will need true vision if he is to ensure that he can build cities to keep up with India's young and hungry population. But planning for a city does not mean just planning for the young. In next week's installment of our 3-part special, we speak to a woman on a mission to put the elderly back where they belong, in the very heart of our society. The conversation continues online. An eminent journalist who was at university with Kamar Nath shares his perspective on our guest in our web-exclusive series, Conversation with Unplugged. By 2050, 2 billion people will be aged 60 and above. According to the World Health Organization, that's nearly 1 in 5 of the global population, many of whom will be seen as burdens to society. And if we fail to look beyond such stereotypes, the loss will be ours. And that is what architect Dr. Amy Kiyota is trying to change. Her mission is to create environments that have a place, a vital place, for older people. She advises governments and institutions on how it's possible to build entire communities that allow older people to feel they still have a place in society. These old farmhouses withstood the ravages of the tsunami and earthquake that tore through Iwati Prefecture in 2011. For Amy Kiyota, they are the architectural equivalent of the elderly, graceful and beautiful, with a sort of beauty that comes only with years of experience. So it's only fitting these farmhouses will find new life as cafes run by the elderly for the public, one of several projects Dr. Amy Kiyota is currently overseeing. It's not glamorous, it's not high profile, but growing old is a fate that confronts us all. But sometimes facing the obvious is the hardest thing to do. In Amy Kiyota's case, what drives her is what she feels when she sees the person in an old person's face. In next week's installment of our Designing Asia Cities, we speak to one man who has spent the last 2 decades designing urban areas to give those who live in them what he calls a strong sense of place. The conversation continues online. Dr. Amy Kiyota takes on some of your questions in our web-exclusive series, Conversation with Unplugged. We hardly ever think of it, but what we value in our lives is often reflected by the homes and cities we build. One man who played a big part in building Singapore says how we live is all in the mind. For urban planner Geoffrey Ho, the search never ends for that dream city that for him meets that most crucial of criteria, a sense of place. A city taking over the roads, a greater sense of community with fewer walls and shared toilets. Breaking the mental barrier is key to breaking the design barrier. That is the message from city planner Geoffrey Ho. And that brings us to the end of our three-part special on designing Asia's cities of tomorrow. While the conversation does not end here, find out what inspires him when Geoffrey Ho takes on your questions in our web exclusive series, Conversation with Unplugged.